The funding for this video is provided by the amazing members of our Patreon. Also contributions from viewers like you. Thank you. Yeah, I started from PBS Kids. What you gonna do? Fight me? Anyway, roll the video. Today we are talking about periods. I'm sorry, y'all will never get me to watch Big Mouth. I rebuke thee. I rebuke thee.
Tell me you're tired of period stigma without telling me you're tired of period stigma. I'll go first. Can we normalize period talk? I see so many patients in my clinic who are embarrassed or ashamed when they first get their period. And let me fill you in on a little secret. In reality, it is normal and healthy to have a regular period.
Hi, so the video has not even started yet, but I literally am in the process of like getting the clips for the video that I want to include, and I was just informed that And with an E had a period episode scene thing, you know. And I never watched the show. I did watch the show. I watched the pilot and I liked it, and I just never went back. I don't know why. And I just didn't want people to like comment saying, why didn't you acknowledge And with an E? Like I legit just did not find out till now, okay? But I am glad that And with an E did have a period scene, acknowledging that periods are a part of childhood. Okay, let the video begin. Hey y'all, it's Harriyanna and I'm back with another video. Hi, hello, welcome back to the pirate ship, also known as Harry Hook's pirate ship. I am the captain, you are not my first mate. I don't got no first name because you want to know why? Nobody is worthy of being the first mate. Yes, I am aware that I'm breaking out. It's called fucking stress, okay? I'm a college student and I work. Back off me.
Say woo, I say back and walk me, I say woo. Yeah, get this nigga, say whoa, yeah.
Hello, my name is Harriyanna and you're new to the pirate ship. I like to make content based off nostalgia and family and children's entertainment and all the issues that I find within those spaces. Now today, we're going to be talking about a subject that just annoys me to the core, and it frustrates me even more than it annoys me. And I'm just going to sit here and just go off, okay? I'm just gonna go off. Okay, and I also do have a brief disclaimer for this video. So, girls and women are not the only people who have periods, okay? If you guys are not aware of that, they are not the only people that have periods, okay? And because of that, I am just tackling this subject from a very gender neutral perspective. So I will be using phrases and words like kids, people, and people with vaginas, okay? That is the language that I will be using in this video. If you're a fucking TERF, if you're transphobic, just get off. Just go ahead and click off this video because I'm not dealing with y'all mess. Like, I just don't want to deal with y'all. Bye. The plank. Back there. Go walk it. Okay, so now we gotta start with the backstory because I am a person that has a period, and my history with periods is it's a history, all right. So the topic for today is puberty, okay? Puberty in general is a very strange topic because usually when we see puberty on television is usually only about kids having crushes on each other. It barely even develops from that. So we're just gonna be talking about the other aspect of puberty that is the most embarrassing aspect, if that makes sense, and that has to do with menstruation. Hollywood just needs to understand that you can tell more tales about puberty beyond just romance. Like, come on now, come on. That's not the only aspect to coming of age, y'all. And it also comes down to misogyny. It doesn't everything come down to misogyny at the end of the day. No, somebody had pointed something out. Somebody was like, if you notice, almost everything is rooted in racism or anti-blackness or misogyny. It's so weird. It's so strange. Now, I just realized that I need to run and get you guys something because, hold on, I can't wait to show you. I'll be back. So many people's first introduction to periods had to be a period book, and lo and behold, this book I literally have right here is called The Period Book. Okay, not the, it's the, but you know, we say the over here on the pirate ship. Because the topic of periods is just something that is so weird, plenty of us were introduced to menstruation through a book, okay? Some are well known, some are lesser known, but this is one of my first period books, and whoa, oh Jesus, they went all up in detail, okay? But the more well-known version of the period book would have to be this bad boy right here, The Care and Keeping of You, the American Girl book that almost everybody had in their childhood that just popped up in their room one day, okay? Funny thing about it is that this book, nor this book, was my introduction to periods, okay? My introduction to periods was getting my period in class in the 4th grade, and I was scared as fuck. I didn't know what was going on. Now, this book right here, overall, it was about, like, you know, the female body and emotions and things like this. While this one focused more on boobs and bleeding, but for the most part, plenty of people's first introduction was a book about periods, okay? My introduction to periods was actually getting my period, and it was just horrifying. Actual first introduction to periods was when I was about in the 2nd grade, when my mom had to sit down with me and my sister about periods, and we didn't quite understand the concept because the way she kind of explained it was confusing. I love you, mommy, but I didn't get it, okay? So it was just, it came and went in my brain. I never thought to bring it back up again. But then 2 years later, I ended up getting my period, and I was so scared, I was so lost, and I did not know what was going on. And it got to the point where I was a bit embarrassed to tell my parents what was going on, and they were like, you got your period, okay? People really get their periods when they're in middle school, but I got my period in elementary school. I was scared but confused, but also very scared because my mother told me that most people usually get their periods when they're in middle school, but I got mine in elementary school when nobody was really getting their cycle like that. Many parents would get their kids these books about puberty when they were like in middle school. I say about probably the end of 5th grade or them just now getting in 6th grade, because that is the time period where puberty is most likely gonna start for them. My school even had a field trip where everybody in the 5th grade, they separated it. Identified as boys went to the field trip one day, and then people who identified as girls went on the trip the other day. And we watched that Tiara Mowry, you know, T and Tamara, sister. We watched that short film she was in about periods, and I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of bored on that field trip because I bought so many books, like checked out so many books about periods, and I read almost everything about it. So everything that woman was just teaching us at the field trip, none of it was like interesting for me because I already knew it. I was kind of bored. Like, I honestly didn't want to go on the field trip, and I told my parents that I didn't think there was a need for me to go because I already got my period. But they were like, no, you should go. And literally, I learned nothing new. The saddest thing about this, though, is that a whole bunch of people's first introduction to periods was that field trip or these books. So they kind of already had in mind what to expect, but I didn't have that. I just had to wing it and go straight in. So that was kind of sad. But another reason why this was just so scary for me, because I didn't have the books and I didn't really have people to talk about it with other than my mom bringing it up that one time and then never again. I didn't know what a period was. And you want to know why? I was a kid that watched TV all the time, okay? I knew what racism was, but I had no idea what a period was. And my family did not really bring it up again until it happened. Today's video, I'm just going to talk about the way menstruation is portrayed in children's media and how it's not really there and we need to do something about that. Mind you, I did not see any of this media until after I got my period, okay? So the first piece of media that I want to bring up is a Canadian television series called 16. 16 is a Canadian show on Teletoon and Fresh TV that ran from 2004 to 2010. It aired in America first on Nickelodeon, and then once Cartoon Network started going on that Canada TV show craze, it aired on Cartoon Network for a bit because of that. We really thought we was grown watching 16 Total Drama and Stoked, okay? But 16, as the title says, it's just about kids, okay? It's literally about teenagers, specifically teenagers that are about 15 and 16 years old and they work in a mall. Also, side note, Stoked was amazing. They really did that. If there's something that needs to be revived, it's Stoked. Hidden gem. Underrated classic. And 16 is labeled as a children's show, but honestly, I would throw this show in the same category as Daria, where it's not exactly a children's show, and when people think of children's shows, they think of 12 and under, okay? And when people think of adult television series, they think of 18 and up. I throw it in that category as Daria and Total Drama and Stoked and pretty much a lot of other Canadian shows along with regular show. I throw it in the teen genre because that is who you could tell their targeted audience was too. It still is a children's show, but you know what I mean. It's still a children's show, but it's targeted towards older children. Its demographic was more for preteens and teenagers, and one of the few teen animated series that we had. And because it was one of the first to do so, there were so many things in that series that just didn't fly by in America. This show talked about everything, okay? They acknowledged everything. They brought everything up. 16 was ahead of its time. There were plenty of episodes where I felt like they just went too far because they could be really, really nasty from time to time. I can see why some of these episodes didn't air in America because sometimes 16 just went too far. But for the most part, it was a pretty great series. I don't agree with a lot of the directing choices that were in it, but overall, it's a good show. I highly recommend give it a watch. It's literally for free on YouTube. Go find it on fucking Tubi TV. It's 16 is very accessible, okay? But there's one episode in particular that I want to bring up, and it is called Enter the Dragon. Enter the Dragon is basically the episode where the three main lead girls, Jen, Caitlin, and Nikki, all got their period at the same time. And one of the reasons why I like this episode so much is because it showed how all three of them, they all had different period symptoms. As Jen had cramps, Caitlin was just extremely moody, and Nikki was like really obsessed with eating chocolate. It's pretty funny to see. I liked how it showed that because not one person is going to have the same side effects as another person. Because I remember when I was in high school, I had really, really bad stomach cramps, and I still do get them. But this girl that I was also in class with told me that she gets cramps, but she gets them in her ass. Like, I was like, what? Moral of the story, people with periods all have different symptoms, okay? Just because one person is feeling this kind of pain doesn't mean another person isn't, okay? Everyone's different. Everyone's body is different, and that's all right. And another reason why I like this episode in particular for the most part is because they weren't ashamed of it for the most part. Because I remember there was another time where Caitlin had screamed because her tampons got ruined. I love how this show didn't really shy away from things that aren't things that were really needed to be ashamed of. And periods was one of them. When all three of them found out they had their period, they just thought it was pretty funny. They didn't think anything of it. Periods are just a thing that happen and we just have to deal with them every month, okay? They're a part of life. They suck, but we gotta deal with it. And guess what? This episode never aired in America, okay? I had no idea this episode existed until my ass went on Wikipedia looking up 16 episodes to watch. And then when I saw there was a period episode, I went on Google. You remember when you used to be able to watch everything on Google because everybody broke that shit up into like 3 parts? That's when I went and watched that episode of 16 and saw it. I never saw this episode on Cartoon Network whatsoever. Cartoon Network did not air about 20 something episodes of 16. I'm pretty sure it's 24 episodes that they never aired on the network. And also I have noticed that when Cartoon Network aired 16, they play like the same 10, 12 episodes all the time. When that show had damn near close to 100, if not 100 episodes, okay? I understand why Cartoon Network chose not to air a lot of those episodes that were in the 24, but this episode shouldn't have been one of them. Like, this episode was something that needed to air on Cartoon Network, okay? Nothing wrong with it. There was nothing inappropriate, okay? There's nothing sexy about periods. It was just an episode where they were just talking about periods. Nothing inappropriate about that. Now, the clique is one of those movies, one of those franchises, because it literally has 12 books. I literally bought all of them and I need to get started on reading them because I just had the urge to read the Clique books again and I bought them for Christmas for myself. The Clique is just one of those franchises that pisses you off, but you keep getting invested into it because it's generally entertainment. It's literally Gossip Girl, but with middle schoolers, if that makes sense. It's not raunchy like Gossip Girl, because that's one thing that really annoyed me about that damn show. The Clique is like Gossip Girl on 5. I prefer it over it, okay? It's just about rich girls being bitchy to each other, okay? And it's entertaining as fuck, okay? Lacey Harrison did what the fuck she did on that movie book, because she didn't direct the movie, but you know, it was based off her thing. She did what she did, okay? This was like My Pretty Little Liars before Pretty Little Liars, okay? I love the Clique books, okay? Probably why I am the bougie bitch that I am today. Now, the Clique ended up getting a movie. You know, it was produced by Tyra Banks.
It was weird, I was stared at, I was made fun of, I had super low self-esteem. So I have been Ellen's character, which was in junior high. I was Claire in junior high, and in elementary school, I was Massey, Elizabeth's character.
But when it came to the Clique, we never really saw it on TV, okay? They aired it on television probably once or twice, and I missed it every single time. So the Clique was a movie that I did not see until I was in middle school. It was a straight to DVD release. It didn't come out in theaters and whatnot. And back then, them straight to DVD movies, if you did not catch it airing on Cartoon Network, Disney Channel, or Nickelodeon, you just missed it, okay? You just missed it. The Clique, I missed it, okay? I missed it bad, okay? So I didn't see this movie until I was in middle school when I got it for Christmas in the 8th grade simply because I asked for it. And there's just one particular scene in this movie that just sticks with me, okay? Basically, the girls are just fucking bullies to each other. And there's one part in the art class where she gets red paint and puts it on the girl's bottom, like, and she had on white pants and she made it look as if she had her period. The teacher was uncomfortable. He was a male teacher, by the way. The girls in the room were laughing and she was just so confused. Mind you that she really didn't have her period, but they made it look like she had her period to embarrass her, okay? And I gotta give it to this movie, okay? I'm not gonna sit here and complain about that scene because even though that scene was very, very mean-spirited, it's realistic. That is how people in school react when somebody has a stain on their ass because of their period, okay? It was a very realistic way because the way she was treated, kids are really mean. They were all laughing at her. The teacher was the only one that was like trying to help her, telling her to go to the nurse even though he was very uncomfortable with the situation. Situations like this, when a person is embarrassed about getting a stain on their pants because they have gotten their period, situations like this really could be avoided if we had a better stigma surrounding the topic of menstruation. We also need to just stop acting like periods are the worst thing ever. People get stains on their pants because they bled through because of their periods. Sometimes it's heavier than they expect. Sometimes they weren't able to get to the bathroom in time to change their pad or their tampon. It happens, okay? It's nothing to be embarrassed about. Yes, it is embarrassing, but I'm gonna get there. Yes, having a period stain on your pants suck, but that is something that you shouldn't make fun of someone for, okay? Accidents happen. The entire stigma behind periods in public is just very mean in general. The way her classmates were treating her because they thought she got her period. Most of the time when I bled through my pants, 9 times out of 10, it was because I couldn't go to the bathroom, okay? The few times in elementary school when I got my period and bled through because they didn't think people that young could get their period was because my teacher wouldn't let me go to the bathroom. In middle school, I literally bled through my pants because I asked my teacher before lunchtime, could I go to the bathroom? She told me no. Lunch wasn't for another hour. And next thing I know, I was bleeding. There was blood in my seat. I had to go to the counselor's office and call my dad for him to bring me another pair of panties and shorts. I was embarrassed. Like, also, I remember in cheer camp, I bled through my shorts because they wouldn't let me go to the bathroom, and I was sitting in the front office waiting for my mom and dad to come bring me another pair of panties and another pair of shorts. And guess what? I hear the counselors talking shit about me. Like, they were talking mad shit about me for bleeding through my shorts on my period. Like, how nasty can y'all be? Like, I remember one time I was just so fed up with just bleeding through my pants because I was not allowed to go to the bathroom like no more than like once a day at school, that I would wear 3 pairs of panties with 3 pads in them, 2 pairs of shorts, and then put my pants on over it because I was just so sick and tired of messing up my pants because my teachers and administrators, the people that were in charge of me, weren't letting me go to the bathroom to take care of myself. And what made it worse is that we wore uniforms. I remember specifically, it was this one situation numerous times that had happened after school where there would be a person that had a sweater tied around their waist, okay? A part of our dress code is that we're not allowed to wear sweaters around our waist, okay? I understand that, I get that. But plenty of times there will be adults telling these kids that they need to take the sweater off from around their waist, and I would see these people in borderline tears. They would be throwing fits, they would be crying, they would be going off on these teachers because they absolutely did not want to remove their sweater because they had a stain on their pants from their period. And the reason the stain was there most of the time is because their teacher would not let them go to the bathroom. That is sad. Put the way they broke the school dress code because they knew damn well that they would take the risk on getting in trouble and getting written up for not wearing their uniform properly than walking around with a stain on their ass and being laughed at, okay? It's fucking terrible. Like, I remember one time when I was in 9th grade, it was this one person, they were a bit odd, I'd say that, but I was pretty nice to them. I didn't bother them, and they had an accident. They bled through their pants, and everyone, all the boys especially, were just laughing at them and making them feel so bad, and they were just over there crying, talking to their friends. I felt so bad for them, okay? Please, y'all, stop making fun of people for having period stains on their pants. It's accidents happen. Now we need to talk about the entire period episode when it came to Sydney to the max, because this right here is what it hit me, that a lot really has not changed by the way we look at periods, okay? If you don't know what Sydney to the max is, it is a Disney Channel series that's honestly one of its best. It is about a biracial girl trying to find her way in the world. It's basically Girl Meets World done better for the most part. It's what Girl Meets World should have been, if you ask me, okay? Sydney to the Max Duff has its issues when it comes to tackling the subject of diversity because they fall very flat sometimes and just miss the point completely, or you just don't be there all the time. But aside from that, the show is pretty good. It's a very cute series, okay? There's one particular episode of this series that sticks out more than the others, other than that racist teacher episode. Whew. It's the episode where Sydney gets her period, okay? She wakes up one morning, she gets her period. Her friend is like excited but also like nervous because she didn't get her period and she just wants to make sure Sydney is good. Her grandmother helps her. She goes to school, she bleeds through her pants, and her friends are very nice to her and they help her get through the day covering up. Okay, it's a very nice episode about a girl's first period. I enjoyed it for the most part, okay?
Hey, why do you have a pad if you haven't gotten your period? Please, I'm president of the Emergency Preparedness Club. I also carry a generator and a blow-up raft.
Thanks, Olive.
Hey, I'm here for you. You got this, Sid.
Yeah, I got this. How does this thing work?
Grandma?
Now this gotta be the first time I have ever seen Disney acknowledge menstruation, okay? I remember they acknowledged it in Hannah Montana and they did it really poorly because it was in that episode where Oliver was revealed to have diabetes, and that episode sucked, okay? The episode was just not good, but it was just barely mentioned, and they didn't exactly come out and say period. They made an assumption that it was a period, but this is the first time I have ever seen them do anything that had to do with the menstrual cycle. Disney. Not Disney Channel, Disney. Y'all, please tell me why the period episode of Sydney to the Max is one of the lowest ranking episodes on IMDb. It is one of the lowest rated ones, okay? It is rated 50 out of 63. 63 episodes, that's what the series has. Also, the racism episode is marked 60 out of 63. So not only do racist Disney adults not want to have their kids learn about racism, they also don't want their kids to learn about periods. Disney adults gotta do better. Like, that racism episode was tackled poorly, but like, come on, y'all. They could have learned something from it, okay? Like, it wasn't freaking terrible. Parents were pissed about that episode, okay? Because they didn't want their kids to learn about racism. And my black ass had to deal with racism since I was about 5-6 years old. White kids and just non-black kids in general, people in general, need to learn about racism, okay? If black kids and kids of color gotta experience racism since they come out the womb, everybody can learn about it, okay? Hold on. No, I'm done. I'm so tired of parents talking about they don't want to, the white parents specifically, they always talking about how they don't want to strip their kids of their innocence. What is going to make your kid less innocent than learning about the issues in the world, okay? Kids need to learn about racism. I do think there are certain things about racism that they should be introduced to when they become older, but the vague overall meaning of racism, they need to learn it. And kids need to learn about periods too, because they happen literally in fucking childhood. I'm sorry, y'all. I just can't with the Karens, okay? I can't with the Karens. I can't with the Lynn Andrews, okay? I can't with the Brads. I can't with the Tylers, okay? I can't with the Jeffries. I just cannot with y'all, okay? It's always white people doing this stuff. Like, y'all, what? You wanna hide your kid from the truth about the world? If kids of color gotta know that the world don't like them, white people need to learn about that too. Stop it. No. Y'all talk about ignorant is bliss. No. Stop trying to teach y'all kids that the world is like the nicest place ever. It isn't. Okay, sorry about that rant. That was just extremely off topic. But when you go on IMDb and you look up this episode of Sydney to the Max, it's called Girls to Women, you will see that there are people complaining about this, saying that it was inappropriate for Disney Channel to talk about periods. They said it was very sexual. It was inappropriate. What is sexual about a kid getting their period? Nothing. Like, this episode is literally labeled as inappropriate. And I also noticed that Disney in general just don't air Sydney to the Max no more. Like, I literally looked on the guide and I did not see it was coming on no time soon, okay? You literally can't, they barely played that episode, okay? They barely played that microaggressions episode too. I'm honestly very concerned for the state that Sydney to the Max is in right now, okay? Because this is a show that is actually good, okay? This is something that children need to watch, okay? They're learning about how the world actually is. And parents keep complaining about it because they feel like it's too much for their kids to see. I'm very worried about the state what this show is in right now, okay? Sydney to the Max deserves better. Like, not only were they saying this bullshit on IMDb, they were saying this shit on Common Sense Media. And Common Sense Media is just full of fuckery, okay? I'm very convinced that Common Sense Media, they hand in hand with the American Family Association, okay? Also known as 1 Million Moms. I would not be surprised if those people were associated with them, okay? Because some of the shit that I have seen on Common Sense Media, it is not okay. I don't even understand how this site allows some of the bullshit ass reviews that are on there. I don't get it. Same with IMDb. IMDb need to do better about some of these reviews they decide to let go. Okay? I have noticed that ever since IMDb got rid of the message boards, the negativity that was in the message boards, it's now in the reviews. We ain't never getting free. They were saying all this bullshit saying that this is something that kids shouldn't see. But, newsflash Karen, kids get periods. Periods are a part of growing up. And to be honest, like I said, it's just sad seeing what's happening in the Sydney to the Max right now. It just seems like everyone is trying to do what they can to just shit on the show because it's a kid show that is actually talking about real world things in a kid-friendly manner. It's not an inappropriate series. Y'all know what was the inappropriate series? Jessie, and y'all gave that shit 4 seasons, and then its spin-off Bump is still going, okay? That shit was extremely inappropriate, but y'all keep that on the air. But little Sydney to the Max is suffering. Jessie has a lot of issues. Okay, Okay, we are talking about that damn opening scene from Carrie, okay? Carrie is a 70s film based off the book of Stephen King. It's one of the better Stephen King films if you ask me. And Carrie basically, it's like Matilda? It's like Matilda for the most part. What's something else where a person can move their mind with something? Because they do that in, I'm trying to think. Anyway, it's basically about a girl that realizes that she has supernatural abilities and her classmates are mean to her. She get revenge on them by K-wording them. It's a tragedy. Very, very tragic, okay? People are awful to her. It's just really sad. But basically in the opening scene of Carrie, Carrie gets her period, okay? She gets her period at school in the locker room after gym class, and she didn't know what her period was because no one really ever talked to her about it. And back then in the 70s, I can see why, because I remember back then I had talked to people before where they said this stuff wasn't really talked about in school, that their family members had to teach them about it, okay? So that makes sense to why Carrie didn't know what the period was, because her mother never talked to her about it. But she got her period, and next thing you know, her classmates start throwing pads and tampons at her. It was very hard to watch, okay? Carrie ends up getting sent home early that day, and her mom is basically ashamed at her for getting her period.
And the rain was called sin.
And first sin was intercourse. First sin was intercourse.
I didn't sin, Mama.
Say it.
I didn't sin, Mama.
First sin was intercourse. First sin was intercourse. First sin was
And the
intercourse.
first sin was intercourse, Mama. I was so scared. I thought I was done. And the girls, they all laughed at me and threw things at me,
And he
Mama.
was with
Like, she's literally angry with her daughter for getting her period. You're upset with your daughter getting her period? You should be concerned about why your daughter got her period so late. That's concerning how late Carrie got her period. Her mom was bad about the fact that she started bleeding. You need to be concerned and take your daughter to the damn doctor about why she didn't get her cycle yet. I'm sorry, Carrie's mom. I can't. She was terrible. Carrie is literally tormented for getting her period. This is nothing to be tormented for because, like I said, periods are natural. We can't control them. Instead of those people being mean to her about her getting her period, they should have helped her. They could have been like, oh, she really doesn't know what this is. Let me help her out, okay? But like I said, am I mad at this scene for them bullying her because she got her period? No, because that's realistic. That is how people act. Okay, I don't think they would throw pads and tampons at you, but that is how people act when they find out somebody got their period. They're rude as hell. But also, back to Carrie's mother, the reason Carrie's mom was so upset that Carrie ended up getting her period because so many people associate periods with sex. Because we all know that when a person does get their period, they are able to get pregnant. Her mother literally slut-shamed her for getting her period. And also this situation right here where her slut-shaming her daughter for getting her cycle, I didn't want to just talk about the entire stigma where people slut-shame others for having periods, because so many people associate periods with sexual intercourse and pregnancy. And yeah, they're technically not wrong, but the other 90% of periods have nothing to do with sex. Like, at all. It's all about your body, okay? It's normal for you to have a period every month, okay? It's helped to regulate your body. It means you're healthy if you're having your period, okay? Because that can't sit in you. It gotta get out somehow. Periods are what help the body stay healthy. I remember people got slut-shamed for getting their period because that meant their bodies were developing. I remember when I was in elementary school and I told my friends that I had gotten my period and they looked at me differently. Like, they looked at me weird. They thought as if I was doing something wrong. And you know, slut-shaming is just a big part of our childhood where we're constantly thrown in our faces from adults saying that you can't do this and that and the third because it makes you a hoe. Like, literally telling kids how not to be a hoe. There's so much that we just need to bring up when it just comes to the way we talk about slut shaming and everything when it comes to children, because whew, I remember they acted weird because they assumed that when I told them I got my period, they already associated getting your period with something inappropriate. How many times have I said this? I probably only said it once, but there's nothing sexy about periods. Like, at all. Nada. Now, plenty of y'all have asked me to make videos about this damn show right here, and I absolutely refuse to. I don't like this series. I tried to watch the first few episodes and I couldn't get through it. I strongly dislike Big Mouth, okay? I don't like Big Mouth. The series makes me very uncomfortable and it irritates the fuck out of me.
You're the next contestant on Do the Thing, everyone's favorite game show where you rub me until something awesome happens.
Ooh, you playing Do the Thing. Go, Jesse! That's my baby! Let's touch our genitals!
I don't like Big Mouth at all. Big Mouth is a series, animated adult series on Netflix about middle schoolers dealing with puberty, okay? As I mentioned, I stopped watching Big Mouth after the first few episodes because of how uncomfortable it made me. What pisses me off the most about Big Mouth, like I said earlier, it's a show about middle schoolers and puberty. Nothing wrong with that. But it's a show about middle schoolers and puberty that's targeted for adults. And people know when they make something targeted for adults, they can do more. There is so much stuff in Big Mouth that really should not have been there, okay? It's very disturbing to see. I hated it. I don't understand how you're gonna have a show about puberty. Puberty is something that we don't see in kids media at all. It's barely there, okay? Puberty is something that happens to kids. Why the fuck would you make a show about puberty with children targeted towards adults? How does that work? What was in Netflix kind of picking minds when they decided to greenlight Big Mouth? No, I can't. It just didn't make sense to me because kids already barely have any content about puberty, and now there's a whole entire show about puberty and it's disgusting. The only content that we really had about puberty were all them damn period books. I've said this 2 times already in this video and I'm gonna say it again. There's nothing sexy about periods. Have this idea in their head that when a kid gets their period, they are becoming an adult. And no, not exactly. A kid getting their period means that they are growing up. It doesn't mean that they are becoming an adult. They're just a kid that got their period. Your body starts to change, okay? Did y'all know that? Did y'all not know that? As you grow up, your body changes, okay? And also, puberty never really stops. We need to start talking about the way your body changes when you're in your 20s because my body has been going through some changes. And yeah, it's like second, it's like third puberty at this point because when people think that when somebody is on their period, they're less than because they are bleeding. Like, so many jobs are mean to people for taking off for being on their period, saying, oh, it ain't that serious, you'll be fine. One, everybody deals with their periods differently. Well, you may be able to go today with fucking period cramps. Somebody might not be able to do it. Maybe you can go today with having a bad headache. The other person can't do that. Remember, all of y'all symptoms are not the same, and not everybody can deal with the symptoms like you. Sometimes I can go 2 days without using anything for my period. Sometimes I have to take Advil or Tylenol or use the heating pad or all 3. Like, also, it really annoys me when people act as if those who get periods are overreacting because of how horrible the side effects are. And it's not just men, because there's a lot of misogynistic women out here that think that people are not supposed to get periods and they want to offer all of these solutions on how not to get a period. It's really, they're just promoting malnutrition. Don't listen to them people, y'all. You're supposed to get your period, okay? And I remember that entire situation where they thought Chloe Bailey's tampon was showing when she had performed Have Mercy and how people were being mean to her about that. Okay, people bleed. That's normal. We know it happens. Why is that something to make fun of somebody for? It's not. And also, it wasn't even a tampon. It was her tights. Like, come on. Being on your period is not fun. Most of us hate being on our period. The only reason why a lot of us like being on our period is because it gives us the excuse not to do anything because we're in agonizing pain or we're just really uncomfortable, okay? The cramps hurt, okay? They can go on for 1 or 2 days straight, sometimes even 3. I've been to the 3-day cramp thing. It's not fun whatsoever, okay? And sometimes your cramps are so bad to the point where you can't get out of bed or you can't walk, okay? Cramps suck, okay? The headaches suck, okay? You're either extremely fucking hungry or you don't want to eat anything at all because your period literally killed your entire appetite, okay? Pads are uncomfortable, okay? Pads are just so freaking irritating, okay? Because when you're wearing a pad, you're literally sitting in your own pool of blood all day long, okay? And you can only change it every so often, okay? It's like wearing a diaper. But with wearing a diaper, you know, when babies have an accident, not really an accident because they're babies, okay? But when babies do their business in a diaper, their parents go ahead and change them. With a period, it don't work like that. You just gotta sit there and wait till it fills up and then change it. It's so uncomfortable. Periods don't work like that. You just gotta sit there and take it, okay? Tampons are even no better because after a while you gotta take it out because it can literally do damage to your body if you leave it in a little bit too long. And then they get full and they still leak on you. That Diva cup, uncomfortable. Tampons are uncomfortable. And also Diva cup is unsanitary too. And you're not cleaning it correctly, okay? It is a lot to deal with when you are bleeding, when you are having your cycle, okay? Y'all think this is sexy? There's nothing sexy about periods. But people want to act as if periods are one of the most repulsive things ever. And they really aren't. They either think it's disgusting or they don't even want to acknowledge it at all. And the many times that we have seen periods in the mainstream media, they acknowledge periods as something disgusting. And that's why that Sydney to the Max episode about her period, why it was such a breath of fresh air, because they actually tackled periods normally. They didn't over exaggerate it and think it was something that was so disgusting. It was like, oh, Sydney got her period. This is how she dealt with it. Her first period experience. Thank you for letting me see something new, okay? And people got mad about that, alright? And then, like I said, when periods are tackled well, people complain about it. Like, so many people complain about them period books, okay? Talking about, oh, it exposed my child to... No! They need to learn how their body works. That's normal, okay? It's completely normal. I just hate how this is something that is so looked down upon, but it's so common in our lives, okay? Literally, it's a part of life, y'all. There's nothing disgusting about periods, and there's nothing sexy about periods. Thank you for watching this video. This is a minute since I made a video this long, and I am out of breath, y'all. I am tired. If you like this video, please make sure you give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed, because we're almost to 100K. Yay. Okay, I'm trying to get my little button because YouTube has not sent me that thing yet. Okay, also if you guys would like to donate, I have donation links down below. I have merch, harriyannahook.com. that is my website. You guys would like to join my Patreon, where you get early access to all my videos and exclusive behind the scenes videos that early looks at everything else that I do, or you just want to support my work, link is down below. Don't forget to follow me on everything at Harriyanna if you want to support me for free. Another way to support me is to watch The Progenies. The Progenies is a Descendants fan series created by me and many other amazing people, and we would love for you guys to support that and check it out, okay? I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a good night.
Girls will just blow your mind. Buttercup like villains 3 at a time. Bubbles will smile while kicking your butt, and Blossom will lead them out of their rut. Cherish and Powerpuff, 2 of a kind. Both wanna save the world before bedtime. From Townsville, Memphis, New York to LA. The Powerpuff Girls are just here to stay.